It seems as though Jon Jones does not like being talked about by two of the biggest voices in this game. I'm going to pull the curtain back for you guys. I know what Jon Jones made in Thailand. I was offered to coach this show with Jon Jones. Jon Jones's resume is impeccable. Jon Jones's star power, his ability to sell, matches up with anybody in the business. But guess what? Daniel Cormier's resume matches up with anybody in the business. Daniel Cormier brings eyes like people in the business. He's got me talking in third person. Jon Jones don't make more money than me in a week. Jon Jones makes more money than me when he fights. We over here eating. The biggest paydays you ever had were tied directly to me. We did it together. And I'll be honest with you, yeah, I'm talking about you. And I'm talking about you and I'm getting paid to talk about you. But I don't fight no more because all I can really do is talk. That's what I do. You fight. Or at least you're supposed to fight. You're talking about me. You're talking about Francis. You're talking about Chael. And almost ignoring the right thing. You can then stick it to everybody like you've done on so many different occasions and tell them about it. I can tell you guys on good authority, if I was still fighting today and I was still the heavyweight champion and Tom Aspinall was the #1 contender, I would have already fought him. 1,000%. Knowing how dangerous, it would have done nothing but excite me. I mean, this dude, Jon Jones, still talking. Come on.
Daniel Cormier sends a clear message to Jon Jones, and it's not holding back any punches. The bad blood between these two UFC legends continues to boil years after their legendary showdowns, but now it's about more than just their personal rivalry. Tonight, we break down the explosive war of words that's dividing the MMA community and putting the entire UFC heavyweight division in jeopardy.
It's a conversation we've had many times now, the Tom Aspinall, Jon Jones fight. It's a bit different now, right? Because Jon's been tweeting a lot about the fact that he's told you his plans, he's ready to vacate the belt, and all the rest of it.
He said he's ready to vacate the belt?
He said he doesn't care if you strip him, he would vacate it.
Crazy. Yeah, I've been busy. I haven't been keeping up with the gossip. He comes back. He's either back today or came back yesterday or whenever he's in Thailand. So he's home. We'll be home tonight, Tuesday. We'll figure this out.
But if he doesn't fight Tom Aspinall and he does walk away, do you think he's ducked him?
Tom Aspinall's the guy. He's the guy. Listen, if the guy wants to retire and doesn't want to fight, nothing you do. I didn't want Habib to retire. I thought DC should have stayed in it longer. So it's none of my business. I'll do what I can to make the fight if we can. If he's talking that crazy shit, I didn't realize that.
Let's set the stage. Jon Jones is the UFC heavyweight champion, but he's been anything but active. After defeating Stipe Miocic at UFC 39 in November, Jones has been linked to a potential title unification bout with interim champion Tom Aspinall. But here's the problem. Jones seems reluctant to make this fight happen. The frustration is real. Nearly 200,000 UFC fans have signed a petition calling for the UFC to strip Jones of his heavyweight title. That's not just noise, that's a movement.
My question's also for you. The fans made a petition to strip Jon Jones of the belt with almost 200,000 signatures. What are your thoughts on this?
So I think a fight between Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall is bigger if they are both champions. I'm hopeful they're going to fight in December in Las Vegas. I have no inside information, but I don't know that Jon Jones really gives a rip if they strip him of the heavyweight championship. He's still going to fight Tom, hopefully, and it's still going to be a bag.
Enter Daniel Cormier and Chael Sonnen, who've been vocal critics of Jones' apparent stalling tactics on their ESPN show. Good guy/bad guy. This caught Jones' attention, and he fired back on social media with a now-deleted post that read, "Jon Jones whooped both of y'all, but hey, why not team up on a podcast and gossip about his life? Meanwhile, he's out here making your annual salary in a week. Stay busy, boys." Those are fighting words, and Daniel Cormier wasn't about to let them slide. Daniel Cormier didn't just respond, he unleashed. In a passionate video on his YouTube channel, the former two-division champion pulled no punches. Jon Jones doesn't make more money than I in a week. The biggest paydays you ever had were directly tied to me. Cormier fired back. I know what Jon Jones made in Thailand. I was offered to coach this show with Jon Jones. His resume is impeccable, but guess what? Daniel Cormier's resume matches up with anybody in the business. Jon Jones don't make more money than me in a week. He makes more money than me when he fights. The biggest paydays you ever had were directly tied to me.
It seems as though Jon Jones does not like being talked about by two of the biggest voices in this game. I'm going to pull the curtain back for you guys. I know what Jon Jones made in Thailand. I was offered to coach this show with Jon Jones. Jon Jones's resume is impeccable. Jon Jones's star power, his ability to sell, matches up with anybody in the business. But guess what? Daniel Cormier's resume matches up with anybody in the business. Daniel Cormier brings eyes like people in the business. He's got me talking in third person. Jon Jones don't make more money than me in a week. Jon Jones makes more money than me when he fights. We over here eating. The biggest paydays you ever had were tied directly to me. We did it together. And I'll be honest with you, I'm talking about you. And I'm talking about you and I'm getting paid to talk about you. But I don't fight no more because all I can really do is talk. That's what I do. You fight. Or at least you're supposed to fight. You're talking about me. You're talking about Francis. You're talking about Chael. And almost ignoring the right thing. You can then stick it to everybody like you've done on so many different occasions and tell them about it. I can tell you guys on good authority, if I was still fighting today and I was still the heavyweight champion and Tom Aspinall was the #1 contender, I would have already fought him 1,000%. Knowing how dangerous, it would have done nothing but excite me. I mean, this dude, Jon Jones, still talking. Come on.
But here's where it gets really interesting. Cormier didn't just defend his bank account. He called out Jones' fighting spirit.
Opportunity. Nothing would have stopped me from going to get that opportunity. Jon Jones don't make more money than me in a week. Jon Jones makes more money than me when he fights. And that's it. Outside of that, he ain't getting what me and Chael getting from ESPN, the volume.
If I was still fighting today and I was still the heavyweight champion, I would have already fought Tom Aspinall 1,000%. You fight, or at least you're supposed to fight, Cormier said. I can tell you guys on good authority. If I were still fighting today and I was still the heavyweight champion and Tom Aspinall was the #1 contender, I would have already fought him. 1,000%. Knowing how dangerous it would have done nothing but excite me.
So, the opinions of Jon Jones have been all over the place. I believe, and this is one of the reasons Ariel and I had argued and stuff at times, I thought he was such a staunch supporter of Jon Jones. I was like, man, you guys really kind of...
That's a direct shot at Jones's competitive integrity, and it's coming from someone who knows what it takes to be a champion. This isn't just about two former rivals trading insults. This controversy is exposing a much larger problem in the UFC heavyweight division. Former UFC women's bantamweight champion Miesha Tate has joined the chorus of critics, stating bluntly, "I feel like Jon Jones is ducking Tom Aspinall. I think Jon Jones is an incredibly smart man, and he knows when he sees someone that would be difficult to beat."
The guy's big, the guy's strong, and the guy's young. It's interesting because I would not be so quick to say that Tom Aspinall is just going to beat Jon Jones. So many people forget who Jon Jones has fought, who he's been in the octagon with, and all the challenges he's overcome. With that being said, I believe this is a very dangerous fight for him. And I think he recognizes that. And that is the difference today opposed to what Jones dealt with prior. When I fought Jones the first time, I was 36 years old. When we fought the second time, I was 38, about to go 39 years old. Like, we were up in age when we were... How old were you when you fought Jones?
38.
Yeah, we were old. He was a young guy, 27. Now it's like he's on the opposite end of that. And like there's some worry when you look in the mirror and look at a 38-year-old man opposed to that 27-year-old kid that he was before and recognize that Tom Aspinall's dangerous.
The numbers tell the story. Jones has held the heavyweight title for over 800 days since winning it from Cyril Gane in March 2023. Meanwhile, Tom Aspinall has been the interim champion since November 2023, essentially serving as the division's top contender without getting his shot at unification. Cormier's criticism cuts deeper than personal animosity. He's arguing that Jones is abandoning the fundamental responsibility of being a champion, to prove you're the best by fighting the best. Here's what makes this situation so compelling and controversial. Jon Jones is widely considered one of the greatest fighters of all time. His resume is virtually untouchable, but legacy is about more than just wins and losses. It's about how you handle yourself as a champion.
I saw an interview where it said you and John are aligned, and you guys have decided together to allow for the UFC to tell you what you're doing. Is that true?
No, man, John's retired. What are you talking about, guys?
What do you mean?
John, you guys don't follow John on social media?
I don't follow him on social media. He said that.
No, me too, actually. Me too. But the guy is living his best life. He's had a fantastic career. We all know. We know John's a religious man, so I want to say God bless him moving forward in what he does with his life and his career. And you know, we move on. We move on. I'm the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. I'm ready to take on all comers, get this division moving again. Us guys have been waiting around too long. You know, the contenders are getting sick of it. Everybody's getting sick of it. Even the fans are getting sick of this stuff. So John's retired, and it's time that we move on.
Daniel Cormier put it perfectly. Jon Jones will get to retire from fighting, but if he doesn't fight this guy, then that's just him quitting. There's one real fight for him, and he's not so old and washed up that he can't take it. The heavyweight division is essentially frozen. Tom Aspinall, one of the most exciting and dangerous heavyweights in years, is being forced to wait. Fans are frustrated, fellow fighters are speaking out, and now even Jones's biggest rivals are questioning his competitive drive. Let's not forget the history here. Cormier and Jones have one of the most bitter rivalries in UFC history. They've fought twice, Jones winning both times, though their second fight was ruled a no contest due to Jones testing positive for a banned substance. But their animosity runs deeper than fight results. This is personal, and it always has been. When Cormier speaks about Jones now, it's with the authority of someone who has shared the octagon with him, who understands his mindset, and who refuses to let him off the hook. So where does this leave us? Jon Jones remains the heavyweight champion, but his reputation is taking hits from all sides. Tom Aspinall continues to wait for his opportunity, though he's hinted that he has a fight lined up and may be ready to move on without Jones. Daniel Cormier has made his position crystal clear. If you're the champion, you fight the #1 contender. Period. No excuses, no politics, no cherry-picking opponents. The question now isn't whether Jon Jones can beat Tom Aspinall, it's whether he'll even give him the chance. And as the petition signatures pile up and the criticism grows louder, Jones may find that his legacy depends not just on who he's beaten, but on who he's willing to face. This is far from over, fight fans. Stay tuned.
Everybody reaches a sell-by date, don't they? Everybody's got a time limit. He's reached it, and we move on.
I reckon anyone else in that position would have been stripped. I was talking to Adam Cattle about it the other week.
Yeah, seen it.
He should be stripped now.
It obviously was a bit annoying at the time, but it's all in the past now. We're moving forward. Everything's good. We can get fighting again, and I just want to get fighting, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Must be fucking sick of getting asked about that, you know.
It's it's not the best. You know what? It's better now because I do know what's going on a little bit, and I am going to fight soon, so that's nice. But for like the last kind of 6 months, I've just not known what's going on. Do you know what the worst bit is? Is like, you know this yourself. It's like money, fame, titles, rankings, all that aside, I just love fighting.
Yeah, exactly.
I just like fighting people. That's what I got into it for. I didn't get into it for anything else. All the other stuff is just like nice to have on top. I want to be the best fighter I can be. I love it. I'm in the gym every day. I just want to fight. That's been taken away from me for like nearly a year now. And that's got nothing to do with me, which is, it's a bit frustrating, to be honest, but we are nearly over it now, which is good.
Tom Aspinall has just sent a crystal clear warning message to Jon Jones, and it's not what you'd expect from the usually reserved British champion. In a recent candid interview with fellow UFC star Tate Pimblett, Aspinall dropped some bombshell revelations about the Jon Jones situation, his future plans, and why he believes the heavyweight division has been held hostage for far too long.
Didn't think they'd make Islam vacate. But if you're making Islam vacate, Jones needs to be stripped. You know what I mean? If you're making Islam vacate after 4 defences, fighting people on short notice, you should let him try and be double champ.
We're also diving deep into Tate Pimblett's explosive comments about Jones, Dana White's latest statements on the heavyweight unification saga, and what this all means for the future of the division. Stick around because this story has more twists than a Jon Jones fight contract negotiation. Let's start with the headline that's got everyone talking. Tom Aspinall, the interim heavyweight champion who's been waiting 577 days for his shot at undisputed gold, has finally had enough of the Jon Jones circus. In a training session video with Paddy Pimblett, Aspinall delivered what can only be described as a warning shot to Jones. But here's the thing. It wasn't delivered with anger or frustration. Instead, Aspinall's message was cold, calculated, and perhaps more devastating because of its matter-of-fact delivery.
Best life, mate, in Thailand. So everybody reaches a sell-by date, don't they? Everybody's got a time limit. He's reached it, and we move on.
Everybody reaches their sell-by date, don't they? Everybody's got a time limit. He's reached it, and we move on. That's not just trash talk, folks. That's a man who's moved past caring about Jon Jones and is ready to claim what he believes is rightfully his. Aspinall continued by saying the situation is now in the past and he's excited to fight again. But the most revealing part? Aspinall confirmed he's going to fight soon, and it sounds like it won't be against Jones. This suggests the UFC is finally ready to move forward without their most problematic champion.
Dana White says I'm his man. We love that. I'm going to go and prove that pretty soon. So it's coming.
If Aspinall's comments were a surgical strike, Paddy Pimblett's were a full-scale assault. The Liverpool lightweight didn't hold back when discussing Jon Jones during their training session. Pimblett started by declaring Aspinall as the best heavyweight in the world, especially the best active heavyweight in the world. A not-so-subtle dig at Jones's inactivity. But he didn't stop there. I reckon anyone else in that position would have been stripped. He should be stripped now. This is significant because it's coming from one of the UFC's biggest current stars. Pimblett has a massive following and isn't known for creating unnecessary controversy. When he speaks out like this, people listen. But perhaps most damning was Pimblett's assessment of Jones's impact on the sport. The fact he's not stepping up and fighting you, he's let the whole MMA fan base down. And it's even more in that case when you're the reigning heavyweight champion of the world and you've got someone holding interim.
The fact he's not stepping up and fighting, yet he's let the whole MMA fan base down.
I couldn't have somebody else saying that they're going to beat me and not at least fight them. And then if I lose, at least I tried my best.
And it's even more in that case when you're the reigning heavyweight champion of the world and you've got someone holding...
It is crazy.
Heavyweight
it is a crazy situation, but there's a lot of politics in there in the UFC at the top levels, and it's just like out of my hands, so there's nothing I can really...
This isn't just criticism from a fellow fighter. This is a public indictment of Jones's behavior from someone who represents the voice of the fans. Now, here's where things get really interesting. UFC President Dana White made some revealing comments after UFC 316 that might have exposed more than he intended. White confirmed that Jon Jones did initially agree to fight Tom Aspinall, stating, Jon Jones agreed to do the fight. Jon Jones was offered the deal and accepted the deal.
To clarify, you said that Jon agreed to fight Tom, yes?
Jon agreed to fight Tom?
Is that what you just said there? Before, like on the last answer, you said...
Jon agreed to fight Tom, yes.
So but he hasn't signed a contract or anything.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, you guys have heard me for the last however long. I said, I guarantee you this fight's going to happen. This fight's going to happen. Fight's going to happen. You guys told me the crazy shit that was going on Instagram and all these other places. But yes, I've been saying Jon is going to fight Tom.
So there were some rumors out there that you guys had offered him his fuck you money and he turned it down.
Unless you hear it come from here or we put out a press release, don't believe any of this bullshit. But yes, Jon agreed to fight Tom. Fact.
But here's the kicker. White also compared Jones to Anderson Silva in terms of how difficult he is to negotiate with. That's not exactly a compliment when you consider Silva's later career controversy. Multiple reports now suggest that Jones accepted the fight verbally, but has since gone back on his word, admitting to the UFC that he's no longer interested in fighting Aspinall. Instead, rumors are swirling that Jones is eyeing a lucrative bout with Francis Ngannou.
It was kind of crazy how much interest Jon showed in the Francis Ngannou fight. Like, there was some tweets going back and forth. What would happen if he came to you and says, like, I'll fight, but I won't fight Aspinall, I would fight Ngannou? Would you even be interested in that or no?
I don't have Ngannou on her contract, and Aspinall's the guy.
Right. If you were put in the position, would you maybe try to get Ngannou back in her contract or no?
Probably not.
This creates a massive problem for the UFC. How do you handle a champion who won't fight the #1 contender, but is willing to fight for bigger paydays elsewhere? It's a situation that's never been handled well in combat sports history. Tom Aspinall gave us rare insight into the behind-the-scenes politics that have kept him in limbo for nearly a year. In his conversation with Pimblett, Aspinall revealed his frustration with the situation. Money, fame, ranking, titles. I just like fighting. That's what I got into MMA for. That's been taken away from me for nearly a year now, and it's got nothing to do with me, which is a bit frustrating to be honest.